tomorrow community clouds will come up, the government cloud will come up. So it is likely that there will be several types of clouds. And also, it is looking as if not a single vendor is going to dominate the cloud computing market. So there will be so many providers of cloud services. So you need to really understand what aspects of your IT you should put where. For example, if you have a new project starting up, let's say you're designing a new series of products, maybe you can put them on your own private cloud. Or let's say you need your team is distributed all over the world and you want cutting edge collaboration services, then go for a SaaS application available on a public cloud. Let's say you belong to a building industry, and right now all these building industries, they have their own cloud and they're sharing assets over cloud and their own private cloud. So we can call this as a community cloud for the building enterprises. So maybe you can draw certain services from that cloud. So you have to understand how you're going to distribute things not only on the cloud. You should also identify things that do not get onto the cloud, the thing that you are protecting within your enterprise away from all the confusion related to cloud computing. So after identifying what goes where, you can look at available cloud services right now, because there is loads of things are already available. These are low-hanging fruits. You can straight away pick them up. For example, look at the number of calendars and schedulers available in the cloud platform. And look at the CRM software. It's not just Salesforce. There are so many others. Even project management is available on cloud. Similarly, for collaborative editing and reporting, you need not depend on Google Docs or Microsoft Office. There are so many others. Web-based desktops, storage, databases, and even business and financial applications like expense management, budgeting, financial statements. So there are applications available which you can easily use. Somebody asked me in one of the recent presentations, how does one know what kind of cloud services are available? Google is not the answer. You cannot sit in front of Google and search for these cloud applications. You need to, there are other facilities and other sources as well. I have named one source here, which is a good book. You can still rely on traditional methods of reading a book, looking at a book to understand the latest things that are happening out there. One example is a book I have shown by Michael Miller. It has a listing of, it covers most of the things I have listed here. It includes screenshots as well, so you can see what it's all about. So now let's come back to the checklist. Okay, now you have understood not only the cloud but also your own requirements, and you have put together, you have a fair idea what goes on where. Now the next question is, who is going to provide you these services? You need the help of cloud service providers. Now this is a very tricky business, because we have understood that there are not going to be a handful of big players, not only a handful of big players, but there will be hundreds of small agile players who are providing very good services. So the reality is you'll have to work with more than you have to work with multiple cloud service providers. How do you do that? Are you going to go for are you going to trust the experienced and reputed vendors, or are you going to allow fresh and agile players as well? And how do you assess the maturity of a vendor? What kind of SLAs can you expect? So these are some of the questions that trouble you in this particular process. So SLAs are the key. So we are going to have another webinar very soon where we will be bringing a lawyer to answer our cloud computing SLA related questions. So we can quiz the lawyer and understand what exactly can go wrong when you're formulating a contract with the cloud service provider. So tune in for that. We will soon announce the date for that webinar. Um, there are certain models available to assess the maturity of a vendor. For example, I have shown one model for SaaS. This is from Microsoft. So depending on the service the cloud service provider is providing, you can determine whether the vendor is in level 1, level 2, 3 or 4, and after noting at the level to which the service provider belongs, then you can formulate your own expectations. You'll be ready with, you'll be clear what to expect from that vendor and from that service. So after choosing your or shortlisting your cloud service providers, the next thing is to visualize the whole thing and document your futuristic cloud-based to-be model. You started by documenting your current situation in step 1 and 2. Now it is a time to formulate your to-be model and compare the two and understand, are you going to get what you is your to-be model going to deliver your expectations that you identified in first step. And this is the time to look at all the words ending with ity, ETs. I call them as ETs because you have loads of them: quality, reliability, security. So all these are software quality characteristics. So you pick up each ET and analyze, look at your model and see whether it can deliver that ET. If not, why not? And what kind of tweaking is required? So you can go back and alter the model. The next step is to look at your processes. At the end of the day, cloud computing is just a business process. It's just an enabler for your business. So because you are going to cloud computing, it is possible that your business processes will go for a toss. For example, I have listed some of the processes it's going to impact. It's definitely going to impact your procurement processes, your capacity planning, budgeting, license management, the way you select vendors. All these are going to change. So you need to make necessary adjustments to these processes. And if you don't have such processes, it's a good idea to write them first. The other thing that changes is the monitoring and assessment process, in which you monitor the service provided by a cloud service provider, and then associate penalties, or do all sorts of things that you used to do right now. It's going to change because it's possible that there won't be any SLA at all, which is mutually agreed. And even if an SLA exists, there may not be a very reliable method to measure it. So you need to go for new measurements and new ways of evaluating vendor performance. The other one will definitely other process which will definitely change the data and information security. I think you know it. You have heard enough about data and security. I guess you understand what do I mean here. The other one is, the next one is disaster recovery and business continuity. Disaster recovery is your problem. No vendor is going to provide you disaster recovery. So there will be, you will be having a multiple set of vendors who may or may not work together. There may or may not be any SLAs, and you may not know where your data really is. So definitely you need to provide, give disaster recovery a serious thought. Okay. So after tweaking these processes, you are ready to communicate. You have reached a level where you can go out and tell your stakeholders, this is what we are going to do. The communication what to communicate. You need to explain both your present model and the to be model. That's obvious, right? You will do that anyways. But we often miss out the business case, why we are doing this. So you need to articulate the business case and also clarify the approach, because stakeholders may not receive whatever you say in the right spirit, because they have their own perceptions, and you need to address them. You need to check their biases and um, understand why there is resistance coming from them for the new way of working. It's possible that there will be some resistance. So after you have communicated, you can gather feedback and repeat the previous 9 steps as many times as you need. And so this is the checklist. So these are the 10 steps in the checklist. I said earlier that you need to look at you need to perform risk assessment at each step. So what type of risks? Here I have identified some of the risks. The first one is the application performance and reliability. We all are used to the Microsoft type of user interfaces, and the cloud equivalent of a desktop software may not provide you all the features that you desire. For example, the Excel, the spreadsheet available as part of Google Docs, won't give you all the facilities that your normal Excel gives. For example, last time I checked, probably it was some time ago, I need to check again. It was not supporting pivot tables, and filtering was extremely difficult. And most of you are users of Microsoft Excel. I'm sure that you will understand the difficulties that one could face if such simple things are not available. So don't take application performance for granted. There will be a lack of features, and also there will be issues related with latency. And most of the other things are self-explanatory. At least the risks are self-explanatory. You'll understand what the risk is, but how to deal with it, that is going to be still difficult, I understand. So my idea was not to explain to you how to handle these risks, but I have limitations of knowledge in that area. But I've just brought in a list of probable risks that you need to address at this step. Going forward, we'll have, like I said before, we'll bring in the lawyer and try to break down some of these risks, and ask the lawyer to suggest some of the best practices associated with it. So, to summarize, we are proposing a checklist. We are calling it as cloud homework or cloud readiness or something like that. So it will help you to be ready for going to cloud computing. It will encourage you to think in a structured and a systematic way. Why we did it? Because we think that this is what is needed right now, and nobody else is doing it. So we recommend this step, this checklist. You begin by setting right expectations. Then you take up 2 steps to clean up your IT and data. Then take up 4 cloud computing specific steps: virtualization, putting things where they belong, and then picking low-hanging fruits, that is the SaaS applications and other cloud services that are readily available, and then selecting the cloud service provider. After that, you put everything together, compare your as-is and to-be model, focus on the quality characteristics, look at the impact on your business processes, tweak the business processes, and then communicate. After communication, you repeat the whole thing if required. This is this checklist has to be adapted to your particular case. So you need to look at each step, move them. You can change